everybody to just keep your video off, mic off, and then you watch the video that we're going to play right now. Mic off, video off. We'll just all watch the video that we're going to play right now. Okay? Perfect.
So 1, 2, 6, 3.
With that, we would welcome all of you to this program. A very, very warm welcome again, all of you, to this program. We're going to directly hand it over to Shaheen Mistry. We have Shaheen here, who is the CEO of Teach for India, who is going to address all of you and officially welcome you to the alumni movement. Shaheen, over to you.
Thank you, Ellie, and hi, everybody. It's so wonderful to be here. Ellie, can you hear me well? Okay. Awesome. I'm just going to share my screen. So beautiful to see so many of you here together. As I was watching the national anthem, the little girl who was in the front, I was in a classroom in Bangalore this morning, and I saw a little girl who looked exactly like that. So there was a big smile on my face as I was listening to that. But I'm just going to take a few minutes to congratulate you. As I thought about this time, I said, let me not say anything new that you haven't heard in the program, but use it as a chance to quickly let you know why I feel some of what you've learned is so important, and leave you with that hope in my heart. So starting with this, and I know we have folks not just from India, but all over the world on this call. And so an India or a world free of poverty and filled with love. I think as you leave this program, keep that intention in your mind, not just to work for this beautiful idea of a world free of poverty, but to do it also with love. And so the big question that you've been exploring through these programs is how? How do we do that through education? And there are two things that we've been exploring together, and I think those are so important, and they've become so important for me personally on my journey. The first is really what you choose to do, and remembering always that what we have chosen to do is not just to teach language and math and science, but to really understand that education is truly the most powerful weapon, in Mandela's words, that we can use to change the world. And so as we think about what we need to do, to always remember that at the center of everything is the relationships that we have, our ability to connect with children, with each other, with all of those that we work with, and then to be able to really dream big, to always look up at the stars, and help our teams understand that unless we envision something different, it's not really going to happen. And then, of course, as educators, to do the difficult work of planning and executing every day in creative ways, constantly reflecting and learning. And I think for me, these 5 big pillars, asking myself each day, am I a little bit better at envisioning boldly than I was 3 months ago? Am I able to take time to reflect each day? These feel like really important things to do. And then at the same time, and this morning I was in 3 beautiful classrooms and I saw these 5 magic questions come alive. But wherever we are, remembering to ask ourselves why our children are learning what they are learning, making sure that learning is relevant for them, that it is purposeful for them, making sure that education isn't just about self, but also advancing our ability to uplift others and the country and the world around us. Making sure that we're thinking about learning holistically and not just within classrooms and schools, but beyond class as well. So are we really focusing on mastery and holding a high bar on mastery? Are we making learning joyful, fun, fast, effective, really leveraging today AI and other tools to really say learning methods can be very, very different from our traditional understanding of textbook and blackboard? And finally, I think in some ways, most importantly, are we doing the work of having our children be our partners in this work? So 5 big pillars and 5 magic questions to keep practicing as you go out there and continue to do the work that you do. But the second big piece is, how do we keep working on ourselves as human beings? Like, what we do matters, but who we are as human beings, perhaps that is even greater and even more difficult work. And so always keep in mind, as you go out there, your ability to stay curious, not just as an educator, but as a learner. Your ability to think critically, to always ask why. Why am I in this space? Why is this opening happening? Just keep asking why all the time. Our ability to work together, to collaborate. How are we developing as human beings who are able to embrace different people's thoughts, listen to each other, work together, even though working together sometimes is not that easy? Our ability to be good communicators, to learn how to inspire, how to tell stories, how to lead through inspiration. Our ability to stop, to reflect, to be conscious. Our ability to be creative and not think that, you know, other people are creative, we're not creative, but really to tap into that internal creativity that each one of us absolutely has. Our ability to be courageous, to speak our mind, to try new things, to make mistakes. and our ability to be compassionate, to fill our lives and the lives of our children and our team members with just so much love, knowing that the world, more than anything else, perhaps needs a lot of love. And so I'm going to leave you with a little poem I wrote about these little characters, the 8 C's. And I hope you enjoy this and you're able to visualize a little bit what these 8 C's might be. So this is called 8 Little C's Came to School One Day. 8 Little C's came to school one day, each of them with lots to say. For you see, they pictured school not as rote and not as rules, not as teacher with a cane, not as shouting, use your brain, not as sitting all day long, not as kids who think they're wrong, not as content that is dry, not as kids who don't ask why, not as paints will make a mess, not as scary exam stress, not as silence in the room, not as punishment and gloom. No, those C's, they pictured class as rooms to weave real dreams that last, as rooms to weave real dreams that last. C1, Miss Courage, does a dance. She nudges kids to take a chance, to raise their hands when they don't know, to bravely go where they must go, to stand for things they know are right, to fearlessly walk to the light. Consciousness is number 2. He holds a mirror up to you and says, discover who you are and accept others. You'll go far and see the complex world around with all its sights and all its sounds, with all that you learn to see. Think of who you choose to be. Mr. Creativity, he comes next, a welcome change from boring text. He's like the blue sky, pure and clean, inviting your ideas and dreams. Be different, sparkly, new, be free, paint and dance and sing and see all that you can really be, an extraordinary me. Curiosity is number 4. Ask questions, he says, more and more. Ask what and how and why? Ask what they love and what they need and what they dream and what they read and how they learn. And if they try, you see, he says, each child will fly. Miss Critical Thinking enters school. Set goals, she says, that is the rule. Be open-minded, rational, clear. That is the way to end all fear. And track the steps you take. Evaluate what choice you make. For each decision shifts the way you live each moment of the day. Communications number 6. Remember, we're a motley mix, and so do listen. That is key. With full attention, mobile free, and raise your voice. Share what you think and what you feel out loud, in ink, through drama, song, in any way, for we will change from what you say. Miss Collaboration knows alone we simply cannot go as far as we together can. So girl and boy, woman and man, dream together, co-create, love each other, celebrate, be somebody's greatest fan, tell someone that yes, they can. Last but most importantly, compassion really turns the key, spreading care across school spaces, drawing happy, smiley faces, turning boredom into fun, sprinkling joy on everyone, helping every child to read, saying, here with love we lead. This is what the 8 C's do. They change our picture of a school, from rooms that leave ways of the past and fill with light and dreams that last. where schools are spaces we all come to change our world, to overcome, to ride life's bumpy up and down train, to smile through sunshine and through rain, to practice 8 little C's each day, to take little steps along the way. And when we change the steps we take, it is ourselves that we remake. So I will stop there and wish you again a adventurous, beautiful journey ahead, full of joy, and one where you are on the path alongside your students and your team to creating really the world of our collective dreams. Thank you. Ellie, back over to you.
Thank you, Shaheen. It was, I think, a very clear way to see how ACs come alive. It's not theoretical, but on a day-to-day basis, how do we bring that alive in our lives? Thank you so much for doing that. I just need 5-10 minutes from you to ask a couple more questions. It's also
Sure.
aligned to self, others, India. We would like to know a little bit more about your journey. To start with, all the educators here, they have come here willingly. It's not that nobody asked them to be here. They wanted to learn, they wanted to upskill themselves. So they found avenues to learn. You have been doing this job for I don't know how many years. What is your way of upskilling yourself? Like, how do you keep learning, and how important is that for an educator, for anybody?
Yeah, I mean, it's so important, Ellie. It's like the most important thing in the world to keep learning. I think, I mean, literally, when you don't grow, you die. You know, like a plant, if it doesn't grow, it dies. And I think as people, we're sort of in many ways conditioned to believe that you learn in school and college, and then you're set for life. And yet that just isn't true. And with the pace that the world is changing at, we just need to be learning and evolving constantly. I think finding your own way that you learn is the best answer to your question. For me personally, I learn a lot from people, and I learn a lot, especially from very little people. And so I'm constantly talking to children and listening and learning from children. Today, I was in a school, government school in Bangalore, and I walked in and they were all drinking milk in the playground before school started. And so I went over to one little girl, she must have been in grade 3, and you know, I wear glasses now for reading, and she had these beautiful like pink glasses. And so we started having a little conversation about milk and is it important to drink milk? And I reminded her of when I was a child, I really didn't like milk, and my mother made me drink milk for 30 days. She said if I drank milk consistently for 30 days, she would get me a teddy bear that I really loved. And that little interaction with her this morning, firstly, just filled me with so much joy, but also was such a beautiful way to connect again. One of the core ideas that I talked about. So I think I would say find where you learn best from, but always stay close to children, because when we don't know what to do as educators, the single biggest thing I have always found helpful is asking children. If you have a problem in your school, gather a group of kids, put the problem in the center of the circle. Today, the most amazing thing I saw in class, this was a grade 3 class, and there were 70 children in the class with one teacher. And the teacher taught for a little while. And then she said, you know, now for guided practice, I'm calling in the next teacher. And I assumed that she had a co-teacher outside who was going to walk in. And suddenly this little 3rd grader stands up and walks to the front of the class and taught the next 10 minutes of class. And it was amazing to see this like 9 or 10-year-old little girl holding the attention of 70 students in the class, including mirroring, you know, one of the things her teacher used to say when she was teaching was loud and proud. Your voice should be loud and proud. And this little girl was standing up there telling her classmates, loud and proud, your voice. So it was so beautiful. What we can learn from and with our children, I think is really incredible.
Thank you so much, Ahin. Yeah, different ways of learning, and we find our own way of learning and continue doing that. Perfect. If you look at the second part around others, people around us, this program and all the programs here, we hope to build that ecosystem of support for all of them because they are in school, but then through these programs, they can reach out to others. Okay, there is this problem. How do I find a solution? There is another teacher from this program whom I met. Why not I talk to her? So what will be your ecosystem of support? I'm sure, like, again, the work that you've been doing is very incredibly challenging. So definitely that ecosystem support is really important. Again, how important is it? And who are your ecosystem of support?
Yeah, again, like all the questions you're asking, Ellie, my answer is like, this is the most important thing in the world. And this is the most important thing in the world. I think find your people around you, and it doesn't matter who they are. It can be a combination of family, friends, colleagues, children, but find your people. And these are people who are going to love you unconditionally, who are going to believe in you unconditionally, even when other people may not. I think it makes a very, very, very big difference. I think one of the reasons I'm still here, this is now 35 years into doing this work, so it's been a long time doing this work, is because I know that if I have a problem, I can pick up the phone and there are 3 people who will pick up that call and tell me it's okay. You know, and by the way, they're the same 3 people who, if I feel too self-important, will drag me right back down to earth also. There are people who will give me the most critical feedback, but there are people who will love me the most in difficult times. And there are people that I will celebrate little tiny steps forward with. And I would say early on in my career, when I didn't have a lot of time, because as a young entrepreneur, I had 100 million things on my to-do list, but somehow I prioritized relationships, and not relationships for results, but just relationships. And I think over the years, those relationships have deepened and widened, and they have paid me back, I don't know, 100 times over. And so I would say, while relationships may not feel like the most urgent thing on your list of things to do, they are probably one of the most important things.
We also hope that through this program, they are able to find that ecosystem of support around them, reach out to each other. Maybe there are school leaders here, there are teachers here, there are students
Yeah.
here. Build that support here.
Yeah, can I say one more thing, Ellie, on that? I think like learning that it's not, you're not weak when you ask for help. You're strong when you ask for help. And I think my journey was one where I learned that slowly, that like there is nothing that is too small to ask for help with. And it may be, I need a hug, I'm having a bad day, and it may be like some technical expertise that I need, but just always being able to ask for help. And I think when you start being vulnerable with the people around you, you also give them permission to be vulnerable and them to ask for help. And then you just become stronger collectively through that.
Thank you for that, Shaheen. Again, just one last question. We spoke about India filled with love, without any poverty. So what is your dream India looking like? This is ideally India should be. What would that be?
Yeah. I mean, right now, you know, my dream India is one where we respect every single person. We respect different opinions. We respect different faiths. We understand and deepen our awareness of those ideas in our preamble. And not selectively. When we say equality in the preamble, we mean equality for all, justice for all, liberty for all, fraternity for all. I think if we as educators can understand those concepts and really practice them in our own lives, that I may have a political orientation, I may have a religion that feels right for me, and in the same way, somebody else who's different is equally respected in India. And I think that's the India that I really believe was the original idea of India. And I think that's the India that I would want to contribute to, and I would want the TFI community to really help our children understand what love means for themselves and for others, especially for others who might look feel, sound different from them.
Perfect. I think it's a perfect way to summarize this space and then close out this part of our induction. Shiny, is there anything last that you would like to speak to our participants? Anything, any last message that you want to tell them?
Just like stay on the path, I think, it's so difficult, this work. And there are many days when I'm sure there are thoughts of, should I be doing something different? Is this worth it? Am I getting enough recognition? Am I good enough? But I just feel you are, like all of us, like just take little tiny steps with great intention and a lot of love for children and just stay on the path. I think one day when you stay on the path long enough, you look back and you just see all these little connections and all of these seeds that have sprouted that you never were able to see maybe in that moment, but suddenly it's so beautiful to see that. I was in Pune 2 days ago. I'll end with this just tiny example. And there was an art class going on. So I sat down with the kids and I asked one girl, I said, can I color with you? She was doing patterns. And so we were sitting and doing patterns together. And I didn't have my glasses. And so I went a little bit out of the lines and she'd been coloring very perfectly. And so I said, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I went out of the lines. And she turned to me with a big smile and she said, Didi, it is not only okay, it is good to make mistakes. And it was such a beautiful moment. And I said, who taught you that? And she said, my Didi taught me that, and I think we don't realize how deeply our actions and words impact the children around us. All of that is not reflected in test scores. It's much, much, much more than that. And so I would say just stay on the path and continue to stay really close to children so that you remember what brought you into this work originally.
Thank you so much for that, Shaheen, for the poem, for interacting with us and also answering all these questions and wishing our dear participants very lot of gratitude to you for spending this much time.
Thank you.
Thank
you, Ellie, for inviting me.
Thank you. Okay, dear participants, with that, we're going to move forward a little bit. We have around 150 participants here from 3 different programs. You might be knowing much more about your own program, but again, you might be a little bit confused. What are the other 2 programs? You keep saying 3 programs, 3 programs. What are these programs? And what do we do? Who are the audience? So we would like to give you a quick summary of what are these programs, who do we cater to, what do we try to achieve through these programs. So next 10 minutes, we're going to hear from 3 different people. To start with me, give me 1 second. Yeah. At Firki, we work with 3 separate teacher profiles. The first one is pre-service teachers. So this includes who are doing B.Ed, M.Ed, M.A. students or somebody who's just going to be a teacher, like 1 or 2 years of experience. Second is in-service teachers, teachers who teach right now, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years of experience. And the third is school leaders or coaches, people who takes care of these teachers, trains them, mentors them, coaches them. These are 3 different profiles whom we work with. And we have different flagship programs for all these 3 audiences. The first one is Firki's Future Teacher Program, which is called 50, this time led by Mansi, Shraddha, and Inika. If you are a participant of 50, could you please unmute yourself and please say Namaste.
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 Namaste, ma'am.
Namaste. Namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste, ma'am.
Namaste.
Perfect. Yeah, we could hear a lot of voices and we can also see some of you wearing red. So that's again the color that we use for our pre-service vertical. The second program that we have is Firki Teacher Leader Program led by Navya and me. This is again for in-service teachers who teach right now. If you're here, please unmute and say hello.
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 Oh.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
We can see again a lot of you wearing green, me also wearing green. So green is our color. Again, just to quickly identify which participant is part of which program. The third program that we have is under the vertical of school leader and coach. This time it's a Firki School Leadership Program. Again, if you're part of this program, could you please unmute yourself and say good evening?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
Good evening, everyone.
Good
Good
evening.
Amazing.
evening.
We could hear
Good evening.
different voices, all of you wearing different colors. So this is the diversity that this group has, but then there's a lot of power in working together. That's why we thought let's bring all of you together. Now to give you a little bit more details about each program. The first one, Firki Teacher Leader Program. This is for in-service teachers, teachers who teach right now. And this was a 7 weeks program. We start on 16th Jan and today is the ending day again. We focused on leadership in teaching, 5 pillars aligned to that called connect, envision, plan, execute, and reflect, which Shaheen just spoke about. Connecting with self and students, creating a vision for your class, making a plan for it, execute that, and then reflect on that plan. How did it go? What can be done well? So specific skills for teachers, which they learn, and then they can implement that in their classroom. And this was a pilot version this time. So first time we've done, and this is the first batch, first cohort of teachers who are graduating today. We have around 50 participants with 13 amazing mentors who supported all these teachers through these 7 weeks. We had 14 live sessions with 10 guest speakers who took us through these different 5 pillars. Couple of data points that we saw from the program was that 97 to 95%, most of you found this program to be engaging, easy to understand, and also very confident in applying and implementing the learnings from the session. And the team that led this was Navya and me. Navya, could you please say hello?
Hello, everyone.
Awesome, perfect. It's a quick summary about the Firki Teacher Leader Program. Now I invite Mansi to talk about the Firki Future Teacher Program.
Hi everyone, welcome to your graduation ceremony. I'll quickly take you through the Firki's Future Teacher Program. Firki's Future Teacher Program was started with this vision that we want to build excellent educators. And how do we do that? We do that by building a program that sets educators who are currently learning and new in their education journey on the path of excellence. Who is it for? It's for B.Ed students, M.Ed students, and MA education students. Through this program, there are 4-5 things that we intended to do. It's a 6-week learning program happening from January to February. The core themes of learning was setting a clear vision of excellence for teaching and learning, understanding what it means to set a culture of safety and development for students, understanding what it means to teach content in a really excellent and exciting way, and having a system lens of the system you're part of. The second aspect is facilitators. Our design of this program includes inspiration from our organizational understanding as Teach for India, what it means to be excellent educators, combined with topics that NEP 2020 highlights are very important for the upcoming few decades, for which we invited experts across the field to come and take specialized sessions. A new and improved feature that we had this time, this is our third cohort of 50, was having coaches on board. A huge shout out to the FSLP group as well. We invited a few coaches to do coaching circles, which is group reflection and learning, as well as one-on-one reflection and learning. And lastly, for the very first time, we had a career fair where more than 7 organizations opened more than 100 roles for people interested to join their organizations. Again, a quick couple of data points. 87% of our cohort thought that the quality of the program was really high, as in the sessions were engaging or highly engaging. And 85% of our participants felt confident in applying their learnings from our sessions. This was done by our lovely team. Shraddha, could you come off mute and quickly say hi?
Hi, everyone.
Yes, this is Shraddha, you guys. I'm going to remove spotlight. Shraddha, could you do that again once?
Hi, everyone.
Yeah. Myself and Inika. Inika, could you come and say hi?
Hi, everyone.
Yeah. So this is our 50th team, and we had a lot of fun with our lovely participants. Over to you. Anu.
Thanks, Mansi. Hi, everyone. My name is Anu. Welcome to your graduation ceremony. We are, all of us in yellow here are participants of Firki School Leadership Program. Please go ahead. Yeah. So this was an 8-week long program, and our key focus area was the professional development of school leaders or other leadership positions that serve in schools. And it's extremely important because, as you all must be aware, school leadership is the second most important factor that impacts student outcomes after learning. And our vision was to create really brilliant leaders who can scale their impact in schools through the teachers and students they serve. In this program, we had 9 online sessions, which included workshops and learning circles with experts. But a lot of our learning happened through courses on the Firki portal. These courses were designed in partnership with the Kamsha Foundation. And there were 16 of them in total, along with a few assignments that our participants also completed. We also had mentors joining us who held one-on-one conversations with all our participants. Please go ahead. Some of the key areas of study were creating a really good vision and mission for your school, setting the direction, understanding what pedagogical leadership means, how you can be an instructional leader, build social capital in your school. And we ended with just a module on child safety because that's become really important in today's world. Please go ahead. This is our team. Along with me, I have Deepika and Tasneem. Please wave a hi to everyone, Deepika and Tasneem. And if you can, in one line, quickly share about one exciting thing from FSLP.
Hello, everyone. I wish I very excited to see all program participants today gathered here. I really hope we all stay on the path to see the impact that we create. Just look back, like how Shaheen said. One exciting thing about FSLP is just the expertise that the participants and the subject matter experts brought in through to the sessions, to the workshops, to the learning circles. I have learned a lot from our participants and also our guest speakers. It has been a wonderful journey the last eight weeks. It looks like a long back, but when today Anu, I and Deepika sat down with the program experience, we are really happy to see how the participant have felt and learned through the program in the last 8 weeks. And wish you all the very best to FSLP participants and also FTLP and 50 participants. Over to you, Deepika.
Yeah, I think very similar. Hello, everyone. It seems like yesterday that you, we inducted you into the program, and I can't believe that this is happening. Merely because of the kind of engagement each one of you showed, and I think that's what I'm taking back from the program. Being it a virtual experience, it didn't felt like just because of the rich learnings you all gave through beautiful discussions in the breakout rooms as well as in the WhatsApp groups, engaging in those leadership prompts of every week. I think that has been some insights for me I'm taking away. Thank you so much and all the very best.
Thanks, Deepika. We also had our mentors join us. If you are here, please everyone wave a huge hi so that people can recognize you. Huge shout out to all of you for conducting so many conversations over the last few weeks. Please go ahead. We've had 2 batches till now with approximately 100 school leaders who have graduated. And welcome to all of you who are over here in these 2 pictures to the movement. Some of our impact points, more than 99% have strongly agreed to finding the program engaging and effective. And you would recommend the mentor conversations to everyone else. These are some of the highlights that I wanted to share. Thank you so much for joining us, and all the very best to everyone here. Over to you, Ellie.
Thank you so much, Anu and Mansi. I hope that gave a quick summary of all the different programs that we were speaking about. And if you would like to know more about any of the programs, please reach out to any of us. And that was a little bit from our end, like maybe the designer's point of view. But we would definitely love to hear from you. How was the program for you? What was the experience like? What did you learn? And maybe just talking about it might be the usual boring way which we did. We thought we'll make it more fun for you. We have a lot of performers here ready. We have 9 performances lined up here ready to express what they learned and how they learned. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into smaller breakout rooms. In each breakout rooms, there'll be 2 to 3 performances. You'll be able to witness that. If possible, if you have any questions, please ask them, and so that you can share and talk to each other about it. Okay? Navya, could you please open the breakout room? That our participants had. With that, we're going to officially move to the last part of today's space. For that, I welcome Ram to this space. Ram is the director of our alumni movement. He'll be officially welcoming you to this alumni movement. Ram, over to you.
Thank you so much. It's a great privilege to be going after a lot of these artists and performers. I was blown to bits. I actually want to start off by just giving a huge round of applause to all of your performers who just, through your poetry, through your reflections, through so much of how you've captured your journeys. It speaks volumes of both the experience and how yes, I'm with that child who's also echoing the same thought. And with that, I'm actually here to just introduce one idea. But to get to that one idea, I want to dial back a little bit, okay? So walk with me in the next 15 minutes or we'll try and unpack this one idea, and hopefully that is one idea that will stay with you as you further journey on. This is not a goodbye call. I hope everyone's very clear. This is never a goodbye call. A lot of the reflections were like, oh, I'm going to miss Firki. You are not. And that is a reassurance that I want to offer to all of you. But before that, just like what I was just mentioning, we've come so far. If you had to think back to your own journey in these programs 3-4 months ago, starting out with some uncertainties, not sure what this is going to be all about, whether you'll find value in it, who you're going to meet, what facilitators you'll expose yourself to, whether it has any relevance in your context, and so on. Some of you who finished the Teach for India 2-year fellowship, others who probably just clicked on this after someone was mentioning, I finished another program, I found a link, and then I directly got into Firki. But if we had to associate with what Shaheen just started this call with, the journey is far from over. If there's one big difference that, in case you haven't already experienced, I'll remind you, is that any other teacher development program you've been on is for you to up. Period. This one is an invitation to be part of a larger fight. I'll repeat it and just so you stay with that thought for a moment. Any other teacher development program you may have gone through is likely something that helped you learn a new skill, find new knowledge, resources. But this is an invitation to join us in a fight that we know we are very, very outnumbered. And what that looks like is this big vision of an India free of poverty and filled with love. We're far from that. For those who are joining us from abroad, a world free of poverty and filled with love, we're very, very, very far from that. And here's evidence of why we are far from that. We don't need these reminders. We know them already. We've seen them in our articles, in newspapers. We follow this day in, day out in different forms. Children aren't safe in our classrooms across the country, even till date. The USR keeps blaring the sound alarm every year for the last 10 plus years, and it keeps telling us that there is progress, but we have a long way to go. And we're still noticing instances of students with so much potential and promise pushed to the brink of taking their own lives. And that is the sad but current state of affairs. As much as there is hope, there's probably 10x more truths that we need to sit with, chew on, wake up the next morning. And I want to take a moment to acknowledge that in some form of the other, these truths play out in your context, and you have chosen to stay that course. You wake up and you walk into this truth in your classrooms and schools, and you color it in all beautiful colors and try and change it into the visions that you have. And yet, if we had to imagine this whole thing, this is very complex work, right? But there's no one silver bullet solution. We can't launch a rocket tomorrow and change all of this from happening, unfortunately. So it's a bit complex. And the idea that I want to, this is something that we've held at Teach for India for a long, long time, is the idea of puzzle pieces. And you've played with a jigsaw. This is a classic jigsaw of the India map. And if educational inequity were a jigsaw puzzle, just quickly go to the chat box and put down what are the different things that need to fall in place for this puzzle piece to be complete. Anything that comes top of mind for you. Who do we need? Inclusion, people to be able to look at inclusion in their roles, people dedicated as teachers or even as individuals in the sector. Freedom. How about different roles that people need to play? There are teachers, great. Teachers as change makers, teachers who collaborate, share, respect, focus, dedication. There's so much beautiful. And these values, these words that are coming up on the chat box, that is what you're living into through your core role. I know, when people say teaching is not a 9-to-5 job, it's much more than that, or coaching teachers is even harder. It is true. And that is the role that you are trying to play through your puzzle piece. And there are different stakeholders that need to come together. There are teachers, teacher coaches, government officials, researchers, funders, all of these people working in tandem to be able to solve this in our geographies and beyond. And this is a role that you've already taken. You've taken up a role for your own in that puzzle piece. You have your own piece in your hand. You're holding a piece of to that puzzle. You're a teacher. You're a coach who brings in a lot of passion, ownership, love, collaboration, and so on. I want to actually pause and ask the question: is it enough? Is it enough if we are able to? If you look at all these problems that are still plaguing India and the world, will our roles in these puzzle pieces be enough? And what more can we do? I'll pause to see if there are one or two hands that go up. Any pressing thought that someone wants to share, saying, yes, people commit to teaching. Yes, people commit to, coaching teachers. People commit to school leadership. We have our own aspirations and which part of the puzzle we want to play in. What more needs to be done? What more can we do? Is a question. I'll see if anyone has a pressing thought, anything that people want to either voice out as a question or a challenge. Give 5 seconds, and then I'll offer a frame, which is the big idea that I want to leave you with. Okay, so here goes. We look back to movements in the country and beyond for inspiration every now and then, because we believe that this fight is a much, much larger social movement. And when we think back to one of the most recent, one of the most prominent social movements India has ever witnessed, which is the freedom struggle, we notice that there is something unique about our freedom fighters. They all had a core role in their puzzle piece. They all had a day job. that they committed to. Someone was a doctor, someone was a teacher, someone was a barrister, and so on. But then they chose to play a role beyond that, irrespective of what their profession looked like, irrespective of whether you're a teacher coach, you're a school leader, it doesn't matter. As alumni of Teach for India, from today onwards, as you graduate from these programs, our invitation is to consider what is the role in this movement you wish to play.
So can I?
Yes, please, Hasina, go for it.
Yes, sir. A teacher's role is all-rounder role. She has to play all the roles. When she is in the class, she is a teacher. And when she is solving the problems, she is also a teacher and also a mother, where she has to take care of a student like her own child. Because nowadays in this generation we don't need लातों के भूत बातों से नहीं मानते. We need only love and affection. Every child has a problem, maybe a background problem, but that first we should become a good listener for the child, then only we can solve the problems. So a teacher is all-rounder, a guide, a teacher, a mother, a friend, all about, where they will share everything with us. So teacher has to play these roles.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Yes,
Thanks,
sir.
Hasina, for sharing. A teacher, even during the time in school and even outside of the time in school, is playing so many other roles for their children and for their school. What I would like to offer is just a frame for anyone, not just a teacher, to be able to lean into as a role that they can play for this larger movement. And I'm going to make connections to, sorry, Prema, go for it.
I'm sorry, you please complete. I'm sorry. You complete, please.
Sure. So there are just 4 words that I want to leave you with as one big idea, which is, are you someone who brings people, resources to your classroom, to your school, to the community? Are you someone who leans into exchanging ideas, perspectives, resources, any new opportunities that come to you? Are you able to pass it on to others outside of just your school, across geographies? Are you someone who looks at issues and you feel enraged and you want to really speak up about it? You want to write about it? You want to take that to elevate the awareness of the larger public? And are you someone who'd like to train others in your own school community, but also go to another geography? Maybe Prema travels to Hasina's location and actually trains the teachers over there in something that Prema is good at. And this is something that is uniquely possible within this community. And that's what will make this a movement. And so this looks a little bit like I'll repeat it, bringing people and resources. Odds are Swati school is hiring for teachers, and someone from Prema school is actually planning to relocate, or Zuleka is trying to raise funds for her classroom or school. And how can you play a part in being able to exchange that within the community? Here's an example of how Teach for India alumni have been doing this today. One of our Teach for India alumni, Aniket, started an organization which went to Shark Tank to raise more than 1 crore. But that's on one end of the story. And then there are many, many micro actions like Fatima's classroom, which is actually on Millap raising funds. So something as simple as that, where more people who are not connected to your classroom, who are not connected to education, can actually be brought into this movement because of you. Similarly, for exchanging ideas, what would it look like if Noreen, Shilpi, Anuradha, and Alamdar just decide to form a community on social emotional learning? Just the 4 of them, and then open it out to anyone else who's interested in. So these are sparks that some of our alumni have demonstrated. Harsh and Shrishti decided that, when people are teaching on Zoom, it becomes much harder to build motivation of students. So let's assemble a group of 20 people to put together a handbook for it. And Kushali has just launched a community of practice on social emotional learning. And a bunch of our alumni who collaborated were recognized at the World Economic Forum in Davos very recently. So all of these examples tell us that that is this movement much stronger than it is. If you are someone who likes to speak up, can you write about issues that matter to you? Here are some of the articles that our alumni have written across critiquing NEP or looking at student absences. And these are across magazines in either mainstream media or research publications and so on. And you can too, and we'd love to hear your voice in some of these magazines very soon. And lastly, are you able to offer your knowledge, skills, and wisdom to people, not just within your school? It's not enough if Purti has just finished the Firki program. Can Purti take it to her entire school and actually say, hey, let's break these modules down. I'd like to offer it to other teachers in my school. Can Purti and Ramya collaborate on this, where Ramya travels to Purti's site and so on? And that is possible when our alumni continuously ask themselves, what am I good at? How can I offer it to more teachers and educators all over the country and beyond? I will pause here to see. I know, Prema, you had a thought, and there are others who also are inching to actually share. Any thoughts, reactions, and something that's coming up for you? And then I have a quick exercise on chat. Prema, go for it.
Thank you so much, Ram. And spare me, I'm actually on my work travel. I'm in a village. So I connected with Firki. I think I knew about Teach for India, but the courses which I did recently from October, I run a non-profit organization, and I realized technology at this stage of mine, when I'm 50, I'm stretching myself to learn, and without meeting also I've learned so much because I wanted to do something good. But then why these students in the rural community, they are deprived only because their teachers are not digitally literate? We decided as an organization that we will work with all the stakeholders, and it took me 4 years to understand the mindset of rural community in my own capacity, my own. I am not saying that I know everything, but today we decided to work in collaboration with district collector and CO Jilla Parishad. Last year, we collaborated with Jalgaon district and we started working with grid schools. And this year onwards, we got 100 students in class 8th, 100 students in class 9th, and we are working in aspirational district. Because when we started teachers training and leadership training program last year, we stopped at a point because it was not working. We are not going anywhere. We thought we are going to take their job, and they were not ready to listen to us. And when I did the program with you, I realized that every stakeholder is important. Now, where we are today and what we are trying to do, I'm going to bring all the young minds from the rural community, all the students, those who are passionate learners. I'm not saying they are achiever or high achiever. These students are going to be part of me. We are working with all the stakeholders, and I'm going to
I think we're losing Prema because of the network.
connect with you.
Can you hear us, Prema?
Just a second. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Is it better? I just switch off. So I felt that technology is the only way we can reach these kids. These kids, I today personally visited them. I met their parents. I have overwhelming experience of visiting their hometown. When I saw these small houses, I never thought I could do something, but today we are at a space. We will be starting. I decided to start an after-school program with 500 students. I think we will touch 1,000 students this year. Now, these students are going to be our fellows after 5 years. I cannot do everything, Ram. I need to come to you. And seeing your program over the time, I felt if I connect them with you, the potential of reaching to the rural area where I can take you to the rural part of the area, and these teachers and leaders can take 1 decade to change their mindset. These students can change their community, and that is exactly what your philosophy is. So my organization can bring the best minds from the rural community in collaboration with government, and from there, I think we can collaborate maybe in 11th and 12th. That's because Akanksha Foundation, whatever program you're running or ITG is doing, we are doing that program on a digital platform. And that is hybrid. That's all I wanted. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful to hear this, Prema. You're already, I mean, if I had spoken to you earlier, I would have put up one of the slides with Prema's photograph and the work that she's doing. And I'm pretty sure if I spend some more time with a lot of you, there's so much that you're already doing. And we'd like to encourage that. We'd like to find ways for you to connect with each other to be able to do that more differently, more powerfully. I see so people have already started filling down their names in the Padlet. Please find which of the different roles in the movement speaks the most to you. Are you someone who has a very active social media life and you'd like to, publicize some of these opportunities? Think about which strengths you already have. Are you someone who likes to bring people together? Is that your forte? Are there topics or problem statements that you're obsessing over and you feel like, if only, like what Prema said, if only I had other people to share that with, maybe we can together find a better solution? Please go ahead, put down. Lovely to see. I see people have already started putting down topics as well. Exchange of lesson planning from STEM sessions, trying to get basic resources for your school. Lovely to see a lot of these efforts, and we want to be able to amplify and find ways to combine some of these efforts. Please continue to do this. And with that, I want to bring this whole thing back and hand it over to the team as you fill out. This community is our best bet to be able to reach that India free of poverty and filled with love, or the world free of poverty and filled with love. And this community is also simply the best. And I'm sure the Firki team would tell stories about why that's the case. So I'm actually going to pass it back to Mansi or Anu, one of you, to be able to tell us tell us a little bit about how the journey has been with this community and why is this community the best.
I guess I could share. I think one of the first few things that strikes me is that each educator who teaches influences 3,000 plus children. So, but if there's a community of teachers supporting each other, that influence can be so much deeper and better. Just in our program, Ram, for example, we have pre-service teachers, meaning these are people who are either studying education or are in their first 2 years of teaching. They are actually coached by alumni from Anu's vertical. There's already that circular flow of support. And I think that community can only get stronger. These are all people who are taking time out of their lives, out of their very busy schedules to learn and be better. And I think we are already 4 steps ahead in that sense. That's why I think this community is the best bet.
Amazing. But this is what we've been doing in terms of sharing more about how this community is the best. We should learn from this community's style of expression through performance. Ellie, do you have something in store for that as well?
Yes, I have something to share. Can you give me like 1 second? Yeah. I think I have a deck for this, just a quick summary.
You're a sky full of stars. I'm gonna give you my heart. 'Cause you're a sky full of stars. 'Cause you light up the path. I don't care, go on and tear me apart. I don't care if you do. 'Cause get lighter, the more it gets dark. I'm gonna give you my heart.
Beautiful. This is totally a sky full of stars. I feel, yeah, my hope for you as you are officially welcome into the other side, the alumni side of this journey, is that you stop nowhere, stop at no place. This community is just the most powerful thing you'll ever have encountered. And as you continue to operate with love and wear all those hats and hold your piece of the puzzle strong, may you also remember to bring more people in exchange, speak up, and train one another. All the very best and welcome aboard.
Thank you so much, Ram. And thank you so much, dear educators here. It's 7:29. We're going to end exactly on time. Mansi, Anu, Shraddha, Anika, Navya, anybody, if you want to share anything, maybe one last time to this group together, over to you. But that's it from my end. Thank you so much, everybody. We had great time the last 7, 6, 8 weeks working with you. Again, this is not the end. We're just going to definitely continue. This is a different beginning. If anybody would like to share anything, please go ahead. Anu, Mansi, again, specifically you guys. Navya, Shraddha, Anika. If not, over to the participants.
Thank you, Shraddha, and thank you, Mansi.
Thank you so much, Divya.